Friend! Oh, new friend! Oh, friend! Please be my friend! Oh, friend!
Hello and welcome to Cheap Shot Entertainment. I am your host Luke. You are the Cheap Shot Nation, and we're going to take you through everything that happened in NXT UK this week. We've got a cracker of a show for you, including the crowning of the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion, which is Rhea Ripley versus Toni Storm in the match, and it's going to be really historic this episode, so we're going to get straight into that. But don't forget to, in the meantime, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell to know when we upload new content to the channel. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and we'll get on with the show. And so your first match of the evening features Joe Coffey versus Tyler Bate. Now previously it was Sid Scala scheduled to go against Joe Coffey after asking General Manager Johnny Saint for the opportunity to prove himself after picking up a few losses against bigger, much larger talent. Wanted to go against another big talent in NXT UK, and Joe Coffey topped that list. Unfortunately, Sid Scala was not cleared medically to compete in this match, and so he got a replacement. That replacement was Tyler Bate, one half of Mustache Mountain, and again an epic match, one that you wouldn't expect to go at the beginning of an NXT UK episode, but it did, and it was really good, and the ending was fantastic as well, so I'm going to try and get you to that point as quickly as I possibly can. So like I say, Sid Scala comes out, says he's not medically cleared, introduces his replacement, which is Tyler Bate, of course. Gallus, as they're calling themselves now, which is the Coffey Brothers and Wolfgang, attacked Tyler Bate and his fellow Mustache Mountain partner a couple of weeks ago on an episode of NXT UK. He wants his revenge this week, and he's going to get it. There's no waving to the crowd, no big entrance. He just goes straight into it. It's a different side of Tyler Bate. He's usually quite fun-loving, even when he's going against someone as big and as an epic match as Joe Coffey. But yeah, Tyler Bate gets straight in there. There's strikes to start with. They're exchanging strikes early. Tyler Bate gets on top early with his stick and move tactics. Obviously Tyler Bate is the smaller of the two guys in this match, but he hits a dive before Wolfgang hits a dive to the outside, taking out Joe Coffey before Wolfgang and Mark Coffey come down to the ring and start beating up Tyler Bate. At this point, Joe Coffey is very much on top. Wolfgang and Mark Coffey stay at ringside, having been previously told to stay in the back by Joe Coffey. He hits a butterfly suplex, using all of his power to wear down Tyler Bate in this match. Joe Coffey, that is, hits overhead choke, overhead belly to belly suplex rather, not an overhead choke. The choke came in earlier to wear down again Tyler Bate. An exchange of corner moves leading to a standing shooting star press by Tyler Bate, and he gets back on top. There is a distraction by Mark Coffey, a powerbomb by Joe Coffey, and then Trent Seven comes down to make the save and support his Mustache Mountain tag team partner in Tyler Bate. There's a top rope splash that is missed from Joe Coffey, a springboard splash which looked quite impressive. Obviously, if it had hit it, it would have been even more impressive, and it would have wiped out Tyler Bate completely. There's an aeroplane spin followed by a lariat, usual Tyler Bate shtick there. Strikes by Joe Coffey, tries to get back in the match, There's an overhead kick by Bate, a wheel kick, and the match breaks down from there with the Coffey brothers and Wolfgang sliding into the ring, as well as Trent Seven, and the match is thrown out basically. Disqualification, no contest. 3-on-2. Coffey brothers, Gallus is very much on top of Moustache Mountain. When we hear the music hit, it is none other than the UK champion Pete Dunne coming down to the ring to help his fellow British strong style partners. There's no love lost between Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne and Trent Seven. They've all gone at each other during the course of the last 2 years since NXT UK became a thing. But it's fantastic. What a moment in NXT UK. British Strong Style has arrived in NXT UK, and I hope after months of teasing us with the possibility, it is now happened, and we have Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven all on the same page against Gallus. So I'm hoping at some point that will lead to a 6-man tag match, and we'll see where that goes. But as far as this match is concerned, fantastic match. The finish led to something fantastic as well, even though it was a disqualification finish, a no contest. So no winners in this match, but what a fantastic match up to that point, and the reveal of Pete Dunne coming down to form British Strong Style is just wow, brilliant. Let's move on to the next match. So your second match of episode 12 of NXT UK features Dan Maloney, who we haven't seen for a while in NXT UK, versus El Ligero, a staple of NXT UK, recently losing to Jordan Devlin, who obviously went against Pete Dunne for the championship last week on NXT UK. Ligero gets on top nice and early. Maloney struggles to get into this one. Ligero uses quickness to gain the advantage. Maloney does hit a spine buster, a double A spine buster nonetheless, and plants elbows and halts Ligero's momentum early on. But it's not long before Ligero comes back, gets back in with some high-flying moves. Maloney just cannot keep up with him, including an overhead, over-the-top senton from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring. There's a springboard tornado DDT for the win. Nice quick match. Ligero gets his momentum back moving forward in the championship picture. Your winner over Dan Maloney is Ligero. So your third match of the evening features Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan, unsuccessful on their first tag team match together, hoping to pick up a win in this one. And they're going against Zach Gibson and James Drake, who formed a partnership a couple of weeks ago as Zach Gibson went against Trent Seven in a very small, very minor feud for two big guys. But I'm sure that's not the end we've seen of that feud. And moving forward, obviously, if Zach Gibson and James Drake get into the tournament final for the tag team championships, you've got to expect that Moustache Mountain will be right up there as well. And obviously, if that happens, Tyler Bate could become the first ever UK tag team champion, the first ever NXT UK champion, which would be quite something. But the match starts with Amir Jordan and Williams on top nice and early, isolating James Drake, the smaller of the two between Zach Gibson and James Drake. Zach Gibson obviously carries the power in that pairing. Gibson does eventually get a tag and uses his size to his advantage and takes control of the match over Amir Jordan. There's some quick tags between Gibson and Drake, and they are working over Amir Jordan at this point. with Amir Jordan trying to get to Kenny Williams, but keeps getting dragged back into the opposition corner. He's definitely isolated at this point. There's a trapped arm suplex, working on the arm, perhaps setting up for the submission move, the Shankly Gate from Zach Gibson. A Cobra Clutch also wearing down Amir Jordan, very much isolated again in this match. Drake then misses a move, and Jordan tags in to Kenny Williams, who comes in like a house on fire, nice and fresh. As the commentators alluded to, they've been working over Jordan, but they've not done anything to Kenny Williams, so he comes in nice and fresh, tries to take out Zach Gibson and James Drake. Does eventually succumb to the size difference of Zach Gibson. There's a wrecking ball drop kick to the outside and double dives from Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams to the outside. There's an assisted ticket to ride, which is a code breaker from Zach Gibson after they get back on top in this match, and that is the end of the match. Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams get put away by Zach Gibson and James Drake. Your winners, Zach Gibson and James Drake, taking their momentum on possibly to the first ever UK Tag Team Championship reign in NXT UK history. Really good match, quite short, but two teams that I'm looking forward to seeing more of later on, and Zach Gibson and James Drake do work really well as a pairing, a heel pairing. We've not got many heel tag teams in NXT UK, and that just works really well for them. But we're going to move on to the next match. And so your final match of NXT UK this week features Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley to crown the first ever NXT Women's UK Champion. And it's been a grueling tournament featuring 8 ladies over several weeks, trying to whittle down the best of the best, and I think we found them in Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley, both from Australia. Both did really well in the Mae Young Classic. Toni Storm tries to start really quickly, hitting Rhea Ripley with strong strikes, trying to take her down nice and early, trying to get the win. Hits a suicide dive. Rhea Ripley steps out of the way, manages to turn Toni Storm into the barricade, and from here Rhea Ripley is very much on top. You feel for Toni Storm here. Hurt herself early in the match, and but she telegraphed that one. Rhea Ripley too strong for her in this one. Rhea Ripley then starts grounding, pounding on Toni Storm, using all of her ability and all of her strength to wear down the back. The back now has a target on it from Toni Storm. Tries to hit a Storm Zero early on as she gets more momentum back, but the back does not want to do it. This is countered into a backdrop, again working on that lower spine. Storm is definitely hurt, and Rhea Ripley smells blood. Rhea is just insatiable with her attack on Toni Storm. Storm does come back a little bit, tries to do the Three Amigo German suplexes, and does eventually hit a third with a bridge to get a near fall. Not enough to take down Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley does eventually hit the Riptide after Toni Storm tries for the Storm Zero again, and again that back gives up and pins Toni Storm. Rhea Ripley is your first ever NXT UK Women's Champion. Congratulations to Rhea Ripley, commiserations to Toni Storm, but both ladies have had a fantastic 2018, with Toni Storm winning the Mae Young Classic over Io Shirai, and Rhea Ripley capturing the first and going down in history. There's not going to be another first NXT UK Women's Champion. first ever in history, is Rhea Ripley. Fantastic match. Although a little bit short, obviously the first match took a lot of time up on this show, but wow. Yeah, great choice for the first ever, and I can't wait to see who they're going to put in front of Rhea Ripley, because at the moment she is unstoppable as a heel champion. Again, your first ever UK Women's Champion is Rhea Ripley. And so that is everything that happened on NXT UK this week, crowning of the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion. The first sighting of British Strong Style heading to NXT UK, and a couple of really good filler matches in between to sandwich it all together. NXT UK is building and building and building. It gets better and better every week. But you can stick right here and we'll take you through all the action if you don't have a chance to see the episodes, or you don't have the network or whatever. We hope you're keeping it locked right here on Cheap Shot Entertainment. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Click the subscribe button. Hit the riptide on that notification bell. And share us with your friends. Once again, I have been your host, Luke. You have been the Cheap Shot Nation, and this has been everything that's happened on NXT UK. And I will see you next time, Cheap Shot Nation. Join the revolution, because it's well and truly underway. Goodbye.